Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector. Hopefully, you are having a great morning. It is the start of the work week. Um, we had the special holiday happen yesterday, and hopefully, you got to take advantage of that and spend some time with friends and family. But I wanted to take a moment to talk about, the last two generations and why I think that the average consumer is no longer going to care about, Gen 5, sorry, not Gen 5, rather, this current gen, and why they're kind of getting annoyed that the PS4 generation is still around. So, PS4 has been around for over 10 years now, and in the past, we would have seen a full, complete detachment from a generation that's been around this long. We would have seen the average consumer fully embrace and immerse themselves in the current gen, and, that would be the highlight. However, what we're seeing today is there's still very much an attachment to the PlayStation 4 generation, as well as the Xbox One and Xbox Series generation. And I think it's because of a few reasons, right? One being technological and the other being financial. Now, when you start to really think about what a new system is going to offer the average consumer, you think about things like probably better processing, better frame rate, and better picture quality, right? However, those aren't things that the average consumer is going to see at a large enough scale to warrant the new prices that some of these consoles are demanding. So why would I go out and spend $500, $600, $700 on a brand new system when my system that I currently have does the same job or just as good of a job, and I can still continue to play most of the games that are available on the next gen? It's kind of like what you're seeing with cars, right? Like, why would I, if I have a 2015 or a 2014 Honda Accord or Honda Civic, why would I feel the need to go out and buy a 2024 Honda Accord or 2024 Honda Civic if my 2014 Honda Civic or my 2015 Honda Civic runs just fine, gives me great gas mileage, has AC, power seats, power windows, has backup camera and Bluetooth, has everything that I need? What am I going to get out of a 2024 Honda that I'm not getting in my 2015 Honda? And most consumers today are going to say, well, I'm not getting much of anything. So that's the reason why I'm not going to go out and spend the money for a brand new Honda. And that's literally what you're seeing in the auto market right now. New car sales are down. They're way down, and more people would rather keep their old cars or drive their old cars than spend the money that it would take to get a new car, because the dollars and cents don't equate to the value. They're not getting value out of taking on a car payment of $300, $400, $500 and spending that for a newer car that's not giving them much of a differentiated experience when it comes to driving. On top of that, most people don't drive for fun, right? Like, I would say 90 to 95% of the people that are driving on the roads each day aren't driving because they're looking for a thrill. They're driving because they have to drive to work. They have to drive to pick their kids up or drop their kids off at school. They have to drive to the grocery store. They have to drive to the doctor's office. These are necessities, right? And so when you start to see people cutting back on necessities, it only makes sense when it comes to the video game market. And so now you see this combination of lack of technological advancement, coupled with the fact that the consumer finances are not where they need to be to support this unnecessary spending. And I think this is why we've seen a big part of the reason why we've seen the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox Series and Xbox One generations stick around for so long. Now, I don't know what Sony plans to do to completely detach from this generation, from the PS4 generation. You would think that they would be making games to help, and that's usually what it is, right? Usually the games are what make people want to separate from the prior generation. Like when you had a PlayStation 2 and you saw that the PlayStation 3 was coming out, you saw that there were games coming out on the PlayStation 3. You saw the graphics. You saw things that made you realize, okay, I am not going to get anything close to this experience on the PlayStation 2. And as great as the PlayStation 2 was, you knew you needed to move to the PlayStation 3 to be able to get that next level experience. And there is a differentiator there. There was an even greater differentiator when it came to the experience you got on the PlayStation 1 going to the PlayStation 2. A huge differentiated experience there between the two generations, right? And it was that differentiation that forced consumers or made consumers feel like they needed to experience something new. And at the end of the day, Sony, Microsoft, they're not giving us anything new enough to make us want to say, okay, I want to spend $1,000, but when you factor in the console and the games and stuff like that, I want to spend that much money on something that's going to give me pretty much the same experience that I've been getting for the last 10 years. Now, Nintendo's in a little bit of a different position, in my opinion. I feel like when it comes to Nintendo and the Switch is never, like Nintendo's claim to fame is never really performance, which is smart. Their claim to fame is the games that they offer, the timeless franchises that they're able to capitalize on when you think about Mario and Zelda and Kirby and Metroid and right, just these franchises that have been ingrained in gaming history. And then especially when it comes to the Switch, the library is phenomenal. Almost everything is getting ported to the Switch from consoles all over the place. You have Neo Geo games on the Switch, TurboGrafx games on the Switch. You've got Nintendo, Sega game. I mean, they've made themselves universal in a way to where if there was one system or one console that you had to have, it's going to be the Switch. Now, is the Switch the place that you're going to want to go to play these large games that take up a lot of data and that require, steady frame rates? No, right? You're going to want to have more processing power for that. But that's something that really matters more so to the hardcore gaming community or the more dedicated gaming community. But when you think about the average consumer, or just the average gamer, the Switch from a graphics and from a gameplay perspective, it does the job, right? And not only that, it's more family friendly, and younger people, younger children are drawn to it because of the ease of use that it presents in a lot of cases. The whole fact that, you can take it on the go and then you can still dock it and play it on the TV screen. All those factors make the Switch an amazing system. Now, Nintendo too will hit a point where they do have to introduce something new. They're going to have to introduce some type of differentiated experience that will draw the consumer to want to purchase their next level or their next generation console. The OLED Switch was cool. We got a better screen. So, this next device, it's going to have to offer more than just 4K and things like that. I feel like this next device is going to have to offer a differentiated experience. And I think Nintendo is innovative enough to do that. I haven't looked at what they've got coming down the pipeline, but my hopes are that they continue to give us gamers that differentiated experience. So a lot of people feel like PS4 has worn out its welcome. I saw Spawnwave talk about this in one of his videos. He talked about this yesterday in one of his videos. And it's not hard to understand why, especially when you consider how many games are being remade and how many remakes can we have and how many reimagines and re-releases can we have of the same games. It's about time they did something different. But I'm interested to know your thoughts, the Y2K Collector. Let me know what you think about this. When do you think we'll completely detach from the PS4 and Xbox One and Xbox Series generations? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think it's going to happen this year, next year? Do you think that these consoles are here to stay and that we're not going to see much of a differentiator moving forward? I'm interested to know your thoughts. Leave your comments down below. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.